A Celtic legend is backing Martin O'Neill to stay in the job and says the fans would be behind it. We've also got a big transfer decision confirmed on one of this season's strikers, a major injury update on Jota, a boyhood Celtic fan heading elsewhere, and a fresh update on a defender who looked like he could have a future at the club. Let's get into it, but first make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. The managerial situation at Celtic remains unresolved heading into the summer, but former Celtic defender Charlie Mulgrew has come out and made his position very clear. He wants Martin O'Neill to stay on for at least another year, and he believes the fan base would fully get behind that decision. Mulgrew made over 200 appearances for the club and knows the pressures that come with managing at Celtic as well as anyone. He has been thinking carefully about the situation and what makes sense given everything the club is going through right now. Speaking on his podcast, The Breakdown, Mulgrew said, "I would say, Martin O'Neill, give it to him for a year, let the whole club get settled and sorted behind the scenes, because I don't think it's a quick fix, and then bring somebody in, and at that point I would have Martin O'Neill on the board, as a football person if he fancied it. It's just whether O'Neill has got the energy to go for another year at his age." He also revealed a piece of personal advice O'Neill once shared with him about how to manage the demands of the job at his age, saying O'Neill told him he used to save his energy specifically for match days, delegating during the week and letting people take responsibility before turning it on when it really mattered. Mulgrew added, "If he was up for it, and I know he's meeting Dermot, I think he might be the man for it. I think the fans would be happy with that." Robbie Keane remains another name in the frame following his departure from Ferencváros. But Mulgrew's argument carries weight. O'Neill came in mid-season, steadied a sinking ship, and delivered a league title and Scottish Cup double. That is not something you walk away from lightly. Whatever the club decides, it needs to happen soon. The Champions League qualifiers are in August and the summer rebuild cannot wait. Now, for the main story, as Celtic have officially made their decision on Thomas Cavankara, confirming they will not be taking up the option to buy the striker at the end of his loan spell from Borussia Mönchengladbach. According to German outlet Bild, Celtic have informed Mönchengladbach that they will not be triggering the £7 million clause that was included in the loan agreement when Cavankara arrived at the club in January. It will not come as a huge surprise to supporters given the way the loan spell played out. Cavankara made 13 appearances for Celtic and scored 2 goals, with the undoubted highlight being the winning penalty against Rangers at Ibrox in the Scottish Cup that knocked the Old Firm rivals out of the competition. He also came off the bench to assist Yang on debut in a 2-2 draw with Hearts and appeared in the Europa League knockout phase against Stuttgart. However, a groin strain ruled him out of all of Celtic's post-split fixtures, which was ultimately the period where the club found their best form and clinched the title. Missing those games meant there was no late chance to build momentum or change minds. The decision has now been made and Cavankara heads back to Germany. Celtic are clearly still looking for attacking reinforcements. There is reported interest in Kasper Ho, the Bodo Glimt striker who scored Champions League goals against Manchester City, Atletico Madrid and Inter Milan this season. Benjamin Tahirovic, the Bosnia and Herzegovina World Cup midfielder, is also being tracked. The transfer window is just getting started and Celtic need to move decisively. In other news, there is a serious injury concern around Jota heading into next season, with a sports expert warning that even when the winger does return, he may never fully recapture the level he was playing at before. Jota has not played since April 2025, a 5-0 win at Dundee United that sealed the Premiership title for Celtic. He suffered an ACL injury in that match and has been sidelined for 13 months. It was recently revealed that he has suffered yet another setback in his recovery, with his return now not expected until October or November at the earliest. Daniel Biggs, a first-team physiotherapist for Kelty Hearts and sports therapy lecturer, gave a frank assessment of the situation in an interview with the Celtic Way. He explained that a standard ACL recovery takes 9 to 11 months, so an 18-month timeline suggests the rehabilitation has not gone smoothly. Possible reasons include the skin graft taking longer to heal, infection or inflammation issues, and setbacks within the rehab program itself. On the bigger picture, Biggs pointed to research showing that around 66% of players who suffer ACL injuries drop down the leagues within 3 years of returning. He said the loss of confidence and doubt that builds during a prolonged absence is just as challenging as the physical side, particularly when there are multiple setbacks along the way. It is a sobering assessment for Celtic supporters who have been waiting patiently for a player who, at his best, was genuinely unplayable. The flair, the directness, the ability to take defenders on in tight spaces, all of that has been missing for over a year. The club will need to sign a winger this summer regardless, and Jota's return, if it comes, needs to be treated as a bonus rather than a guarantee. In other news, the Andy Robertson to Celtic dream is officially over before it ever really began, with the Scotland captain now set to join Tottenham Hotspur rather than making the romantic return to Glasgow that many fans had been hoping for. According to the BBC, Robertson has reached an agreement in principle with Spurs ahead of a move this summer. Juventus were credited with late interest, but the Scotland captain appears set to stay in the Premier League. Robertson confirmed back in April that he would be leaving Liverpool at the end of the season after an extraordinary career at Anfield. 2 Premier League titles, a Champions League medal, domestic cups, and years operating at the highest level made him one of the most decorated Scottish players of the modern era. His journey there was far from straightforward. He started at Queen's Park before Dundee United gave him his chance. One outstanding season at Tannadice earned him a move to Hull City, and Liverpool arrived 3 years after that. From there, he never looked back. The Celtic links were always built more on emotion than genuine expectation. He is a boyhood Celtic fan and a player who genuinely loves the club, but the reality is that a player still capable of operating at Premier League level was never likely to step away from that immediately. Celtic still absolutely need to address left back as a priority this summer. Kieran Tierney is the only recognised senior option in the position after Marcelo Saracchi returned to Boca Juniors, and the situation needs to be resolved before pre-season begins. Lastly, it looks increasingly likely that Julian Araujo will not be returning to Celtic, with fresh reports from both the Daily Record and Mexican sources confirming that Liga MX clubs Monterrey and Cruz Azul are pushing hard to sign the Bournemouth defender ahead of next season. Araujo arrived at Celtic in the January window without much fanfare, but made a genuine impression during his loan spell before injury cut things short. His most memorable moment in a Celtic shirt came in a dramatic late winner against Kilmarnock at Rugby Park during a crucial stage of the title run-in. That goal now looks set to be his final contribution in Celtic colours. Martin O'Neill confirmed in April that Araujo would not return for the remainder of the season due to a thigh problem, and the timing effectively ended any real prospect of him building the kind of form that would have given Celtic a clear reason to bring him back permanently. That's all the latest Celtic news for today. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. I'll see you in the next one. Hail